Hey guys, what's up? I hope you're having a great day. Welcome back to the new story of r/relationship advice. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for new future videos. Let's get started. Cheers.
Stories in today's video. 1. Cheating wife is still mad I divorced her and amp, she is stuck with her min-wage job and amp, bills. 2. Cheating wife is mad I'm divorcing her and amp, she'll get stuck with her min-wage job and amp, bills. I want to start this post by saying that I am a regular lurker around these infidelity subs and just today I made this throwaway account to get some advice. Also, since English is not my first language there might be grammatical errors so please excuse those. It has been over 6 months since D-Day, 5 months since divorce and I still need some advice. I do not have enough time to tell my full story, but here is what I can tell you. 1. Married 5 years, had a great S**x life, we had made the choice to not have kids until we were both 35. 2. I pretty much caught her having S**x with her app in our bedroom. 3. I had been pretty clear about my views on infidelity right from when we started dating and had told her very clearly that cheating was a complete no-no for me. 4. I stayed calm throughout the entire ordeal, I asked her to get dressed, I called up her elder sister who lived in a nearby town, and asked her to pick my wife up. 5. I blocked her on all platforms, and talked to my lawyer about the divorce proceedings. 6. They drove back to my house the next day, and she immediately threw herself onto me and started crying profusely. She wanted me to give her a chance to explain herself. 7. Even though I did not really want to hear any of it, and my answer would still be divorce whether she cheated 100 times or just once, I sat down with her and asked her some questions. 8. My first question was it an emotional affair or a physical one? She seemed to be stupefied for a good 5 or 6 seconds before tears started streaming down her face and she whined about how I could even think she would have an emotional affair with someone else other than me and swore it was a purely physical one. 9. My second question was were you unsatisfied in our marriage in any way? She claimed she wasn't. She was incredibly happy with both our S**x life and our financial status. 10. What was the reason then? I don't know, she said and absolutely broke down. She got on her knees and said she feels disgusted with herself. She said she was going through a lot since she wasn't doing well in her job and she wanted to validate her own importance in her mind. She often talked to me about her job too. I supported her wholeheartedly and she was also going to therapy for it. Even though I did not understand her reason, I did not poke much into it. 11. How many times were you physically involved? She told me it was only 3 times of physical contact, and she had apparently never allowed him to kiss her. I don't know if that was supposed to make me feel better about it. 12. With that, I was done. I told her that I wanted a divorce. Surprisingly, she did not say anything, just nodded and went to the guest room and locked herself up with her sister. 13. Unfortunately, though, before I could serve her the divorce papers, our district went into lockdown and travel between districts was prohibited. Thus, in an unfortunate turn of events, it seemed I would need to spend a full week with my wife in the same house and I could not even file for divorce because the courts were closed. 13. But I was not having that bullshit. I decided to move out and live in my neighbor's house instead. And that helped somewhat. I would still see her every day. Dark circles, swollen eyes, she looked nothing like before. 14. One day, she got too drunk and I heard her shouting in her room, I disgust you, don't I? You can't even look at my face. And she repeated that the whole night. 15. Another day, I bumped into her talking to someone on the phone in the footpath in front of our house, and she immediately started freaking out, and screamed, I was not talking to him, I promise. It was just my colleague from work. A while later she seemed to realize her mistake and walked away without another word. 16. A week later, they moved away, and I moved back into my house. I got done with the divorce about a month later. Bizarrely, she did not demand anything from me in the settlement. 17. 6 months later, she would still text me and call me sometimes. She once drove over 50 miles to see me when I was ill with COVID. I have not been doing very well. I do still love her. The way she was truly mournful of her mistakes sometimes almost made me feel for her again. But on other times I just want to cut her off completely and start afresh. I am not sure if I would be able to love or marry again, but I did get along with a few hookups in the last 2 weeks or so and to be honest it does feel better somewhat. I do not know if I can move on if we keep talking. I have told her not to talk to me but she does not listen. Should I just block her everywhere? I really do not want to hurt her, but she has not left me any option. What should I do? So I did exactly what I had intended to do. I called her up and told her that I wished to go completely no contact for a few months. For a few seconds, I heard nothing on her end, long enough for me to ask her if she even heard me. She said she did hear me and started fumbling for words once again. I explained to her that it was not any fault of her, it was just me that was finding it difficult to move on with my life if we kept talking. She said she understood, and promised not to contact me. Before hanging up, she asked me if I was planning on completely cutting her off. I bluntly told her that I was not planning to do so at the moment, but I might change my decision in the future. She told me it was all right, that I deserved to do whatever I needed to get over it, and told me that she would try to find a new job during these months. With that, I bid her farewell, and proceeded to block her on all platforms. A few hours later, her sister called me up. She told me I had made a good decision, especially since ex-wife needed this NC period too. She only did a part-time job, hardly ever went out, and spent the entire day going through old pictures. Thus, at least for the moment, I feel like I have made a good decision. A lot of people have messaged me asking me several questions that were left untouched in the original post. Here, I would like to clear out some. 1. How long has the affair been going on? According to her, they first had S*X when she went on a work-related trip to another city, which was about 1 month before D-Day. Now, she claims there was no S*X tension between them before this trip, but on the other hand they had been working together in the same office for about 3 months, so I really can't tell if she's lying. 2. How did she behave in the days before D-Day and immediately after it? In the few weeks before D-Day, when her affair was ongoing, I did not really notice anything out of the ordinary. I am generally a very perceptive individual. The usual signs of an affair, such as increased conflict, anger, blaming, trying to keep one's phone close by at all times, I did not notice any of it with her. In fact, she only grew quieter every day. I figured it was because of the problems she was facing in work, and had a good talk with her. She hugged my chest and cried for several minutes, and I did my best in comforting her. We also had a lot of S*X that week, as we usually did every week. I feel kind of *SSED saying this, but we did a role play of her as a criminal and me as a policeman who caught her and then had forceful S*X with her. It was her idea. In hindsight, it does make some kind of sense now, though it kinda F*CKS me up. Apart from that, I noticed nothing out of the ordinary. On the day of discovery, she was dazed throughout the ordeal. It seemed her brain was switched off, she just looked at me with wide eyes, tears streaming down, and just nodded when I told her to wait for her elder sister while I left back to work. Later, sister-in-law later called me up to tell me that ex-wife was nowhere to be found. I was preparing to go out in search of her, when she called again to tell that she found ex-wife walking around in a dazed state around our neighborhood. She was either searching for me or for her app. I don't know which. In her sister's house, she apparently also tried to harm herself physically, but then calmed down and had some rest. 3. Is she still talking to her app? This is one point that I failed to mention in my original post. She quit her job immediately after D-Day. According to her, she could not bear to see app there every day. I had anticipated that she would use this opportunity to ask for a heavy stipulation from the divorce, which made it even more bizarre that she didn't. 4. Was she really talking to her app on the phone when you stumbled upon her on the footpath? Frankly, I don't know and I haven't asked. 5. How was your relationship after the divorce? We did have an NC period of about 1 week after the divorce. Later, she called me up and asked me if I could consider keeping a friendly relationship with her. I saw no harm in it, so I agreed. We agreed that we would not talk about the divorce, or our married life. We just asked each other about work, and about how we were doing. As for the frequency of contact, I would say minimal, 1 or 2 texts per day maybe, and sometimes none for days. Sometimes we would talk over call, but not for long periods. We never met physically. She did once drive over when I was ill, but was not allowed to actually meet me physically because I was in the isolation ward. 6. Have you tried therapy? Of course. I have been in therapy since D-Day. Ex-wife went to a therapist for the first 2 months after the divorce, but then stopped going for no apparent reason. Some people in the comment section seem to misunderstand my original post. They kept posting comments asking me to consider reconciliation. I would like to reiterate that my original post was about whether I should block her or not, and not about reconciliation. I made the decision to not reconcile a long time ago, and ex-wife has accepted it. It is not about how much she regrets and mourns over it, I am simply incapable of trusting her again. 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 Thank you for your time. My wife had an emotional crush on a guy in college 18 years ago. But the guy did not accept her proposal at the time. But they have been in contact on and off all these years through social media. My wife told me everything about him, and up until recently they were just friends. I found out yesterday that they have gotten quite intimate on social media since a year. I saw all her texts and the guy had been regularly asking for her pics in revealing clothes. My wife had sent cleavage-bearing photos to him, if not anything more explicit. My wife's into spirituality and the guy has been portraying himself as spiritual, and that's where I think my wife is emotionally connected to him. At one point in the conversation, she told him, "I am in tune with you. We are married mentally. Love you lots." Lately they may have moved to Telegram, which is much secure, so I don't know how far they may have gone. I was seething with rage, but I calmed myself down and approached this rationally. I have 2 kids and they must not be harmed in any way due to this. I admit that I have been so engrossed in work since I am upskilling myself and transitioning to a better position. I also have a night shift at work and 2 kids. This led to me sleeping late in the night in other bedroom alone for almost 2 years. She sleeps with the kids early. Naturally non-existent ex life. While she has great respect and care for me and is always there when I need her, I believe she drifted away because of perceived lack of emotional support and no ex life. Today I tried to get naughty with her and asked her for ex, and she was ready in an instant. We had a good time and she was totally into it. I totally want to save the marriage despite the heartbreak. That's why I haven't confronted her yet. Should I now? Or should I just reignite the ex life and further the emotional connection and hope remorse moves her away from him? I have to deal with this very pragmatically because both of our families also go along very well. Thank you for reading. Update. I confronted her without showing the evidence first and she said they do chat on and off, but it's nothing more than that. I then slowly revealed the chats and she looked all hopeless and said that she tried to stop him from crossing limits while chatting and not to chat in a specific way. I put my foot down and told her that she cheated nevertheless and that she can either leave or go NC with that guy. In the above description, I paraphrased what I thought I read, but the actual conversation was, "I am in tune with you. We don't necessarily have to chat like this. We are married." She said she meant we both are married and not that we are mentally married, and that she could never say such a thing. She said she knew the whole thing was going wayward and had finally put an end to it, restricting conversations to casual friendly talk, and showed me parts of a newer conversation where she appreciated me and how happy she is with me. She then lamented that karma hit her nevertheless, and I saw older chats. She said she has met him just once when she went to her native town along with other friends and had let me know about the meeting. She did let me know. She said she has not met him in private ever. She was at home all the time at her mother's place as she was pregnant with our number 2. I asked her about the pictures and she said she had sent him normal pictures and showed me parts in the conversation where he was coaxing her to send revealing ones. She said she was stupid and delirious dead in the night to have sent him 3 revealing pictures. She said she realized it was a mistake and tried to steer away the conversation with him to mundane topics. She said she tried to reconnect with her old friends after we moved to a new city and was hoping for some meaning connections with people she knew for old time's sake. She said she had good memories of his college friends but now realizes that people change over the years and that the guy has turned into a creepy predator seeking cheap thrills. We both have same P*SS code on our phones. So I scanned her phone and found no new conversations. I asked her to send the guy one last message not to contact again and that I know everything. She did what I said and also agreed that the guy's wife deserves to know everything. Just before bedtime she broke down and apologized and said she didn't want to hurt me and that she wants me and loves me over anyone else. She said I am justified in seeking separation but that she wants to save the marriage. I said I honestly can't think straight and that I am heartbroken and that what she did was not right. She cried herself to sleep. Today morning she apologized again and said she was being stupid and realized during the convos that the guy wasn't the same college friend she knew and that he has changed and should have ended conversations earlier on. I said I want to trust her but right now I can't.